Well, guess we're drawing on my inner demons again. Let's get to it. But I swear, if this sequel flops like the Granblue's one, we're stopping it here. So y'all better cram this down the throats of everyone you know if you want a third installment. Okay, now we may proceed. Ah, Luane players, the despised and or beloved meme lords of the game, depending on how you feel about the matchup. While they're not tryhards in a conventional sense, they are most certainly hipsters. Too cool to play just any ordinary, boring character.
That's disgusting!
These people took one singular look at this wacky-ass, unconventional, gimmick-ridden group of dudes and they said,
Hell yeah!
And they fittingly tend to do, as one would say, a little trolling. Nowadays, they're under serious fire and scrutiny, being hailed as a sleeper top tier as more and more grimy tactics within the kit are discovered. But they don't really care about any of that stuff and mostly play for the satisfaction of the gimmick. If you haven't already gone through the knowledge check of losing this character 1,000 times, prepare for their ever-patented technique of a random unsafe approach option and parry because literally all of them do this and it will always be annoying. You can also, of course, expect to be constantly scanned by human pyramid cheese and, in his most desperate of hours, he will of course call upon the divine might of his ultimate weapon, Yigo Drizzle, to personally introduce you to the fact that in this matchup, you are no longer playing a traditional fighting game. More often than not, though, these guys are an absolute breath of fresh air anytime they happen to come around. Most tend to be very easygoing or outright similar to the dude bro they happen to main, which usually means they're the life of the party. The unfortunate tragedy for the Luane player, though, is their satisfaction will deteriorate over time as they run into people that are gradually better at blocking their bullshit and dodging their cheese minigame supers. Eventually, every last drop of enjoyment they have with this game will eventually be sucked away after being farmed and double-perfected by a Beatrix for the 200th time.
Bastage bitch!
After this, they will likely devolve into a shell of their former selves, developing the same pessimistic mindset they swore to destroy. Once they reach that point, they abandon their fun-loving ways and begin to only play the character optimally, i.e. lame as fuck. Sometimes to a point where neither player in the match is likely to enjoy themselves, win or lose. You'll think these guys must be Deadpool's cousin for how they seemingly never die, as their ability to materialize food from nowhere seems to give them just the amount of HP to take another hit, or absolutely murder him if he takes a bad time to do so. Some will have the tools to deal with their bag of tricks or the foresight to block his ever-increasingly questionable setups, but the ones who don't will know suffering once more. Regardless of the stage of their time with this character they're on, Luane and his player base should ultimately be treasured, as they play one of the most absurd characters ever put into a high-profile fighting game, and there is basically never a dull moment when they're around. And, as tradition, I have to give a shout-out to my friend Golem, who is single-handedly responsible for me being able to actually fight this character after losing several zillion times to him. No. Now, a decent chunk of what I've said in these videos is for comedic purposes and mostly intended to be taken lightly. But I want to preface this section here by saying if you play Metera, fuck you! One of the founding members of the Legion of AIDS! Since vanilla, Metera players are entitled elitist simps who are down unfathomably horrendous for their ugly bow-wielding bimbo, despite her being more likely to go for the Belial players. These arrow-abusing sadists laugh and gloat over the idea of playing a privileged character, and they easily used to be the gold medalist for the down player decathlon.
Oh my god, this character's so hard! I don't have enough keep-away tools!
Here's the nose and rainbow wig. You earned them.
In recent times, however, the public eye has woken up to their nonsense, and they've started giving up on trying to hide the truth altogether. The exceedingly delusional ones will try to keep up the charade that a zoner with extraordinarily stupid damage, pressure, and mobility is somehow not one of the most privileged things you could ask for. But no one will buy into the drug trip they're trying to sell. As of this video, this character is capable of dealing 11,000 damage off hitting a fucking far L in the corner. And the fact that the devs haven't packed that shit into oblivion yet shows the disease has probably spread to the dev team itself. Just like the fairy players, Meteras come in two different flavors of insufferable, coming in both camper and rushdown types. The zoner types, upon round start, will immediately use their Amane-esque cheese jump to fly away to the back of the screen and never leave it for the rest of the game. Their ability to run away and dodge hits is synonymous with their mastered real-life ability to dodge all forms of soap and water. And if you even get within smelling distance of them, which, if we're being real for these guys, is probably about half screen at best, they will immediately fly to the other side of the stage, far, far away. The tedium of this vicious cycle will continue until one of you dies. The rushdown variant seemed kinder at first, deciding to actually give you some semblance of interaction, but blocking these asswipes is a literal nightmare with a never-ending barrage of ambiguous jumping 50-50s, possibly the best 4L in the game, which on top of this range is also a low, by the way, and butterfly bullshit that even when blocked will slowly chip you into oblivion. If either type is miraculously put on the defensive, they're prone to mashing grave counters so hard that their controllers should be treated as domestic abuse victims and taken away from them. This is because, in all their privileged time of scamming wins, they never bothered to learn how to actually block. Especially when the I have no defense macro is glaring at them like the fucking Green Goblin mask. How do I defend? The net play warrior blocks neither pressure or mix. Tell me how! Brave counter, scrub! You mash your free neutral reset option! If you somehow survive long enough for them to waste all their brave points, kindly do every one of us a favor and teabag them after blocking their incredibly telegraphed UDP attempt before absolutely obliterating them with a punish combo. Oh, and to top it off, they also have a notably high chance of having some sus player name or tag on their card. And if they play with the JP voices, I can almost all but guarantee you it's purely because the noises she makes are far more obnoxious, and chances of them being horny rise by 200%. Win or lose, you will likely be tilted either way by the end of the match. Get yourself a daily mental health service, take a page out of their books, and zone these people out of your life as much as possible. Absolutely one and done them on sight. For every minute away from their degeneracy is precious. Like the fairy player, we'll probably type an essay in the comment section of this video that nobody's going to read, despite their scorn being even more deserved than the fairy following. Though said essay will likely be even more wild, unhinged, and divorce grammar. Ooh, Vaseraga players. God, I hate this matchup, and I'm sure just about everyone else does too. Personality-wise, Vaseraga players are wildly enough kind of a mixed bag. They tend to either be shockingly wild and friendly, similar to the Ludiva players, or extremely silent and stoic, with no real in-between. Both types are likely still relishing in their greatly heightened place at the upper end of the tier list, and tend to be decent people outside of the game too. Oh, inside of the game, however, regardless of what their personality is, once that match starts, a switch immediately flips on in their mind and the terror commences. Voss players aren't really toxic per se, but they more so tend to be silent bullies? They won't verbally shit talk you, but you can bet your ass they will not respect you in-game in the slightest. They will push you down the stairs, shove you into a 2-0 locker, and steal your points without mercy. If Lancelot players are the low-tier knife-wielding street thugs, Vaseraga players are the 7-foot-tall brutish motherfuckers that have the starring role in your prison-related nightmares. They are well aware that the moment they get a window to set up their stupid 5U buff, they effectively get free reign over the match until it wears off. Once that armor goes up, these guys will fish for stupid shit all day long with little consequence because they know they can get away with it. Expect to have to deal with such wonderful and questionable approach options such as run up full screen dash H, run up full screen butt smash, full screen shoulder tackle, and full screen walk. Due to their mastery of privilege, all of these, regardless of your attempts to play around them, will either stick you on the defensive, set the stage for more armor mix, or worst case scenario, fucking kill you. You can expect the classic maneuver of surprise you command grab that will chuck you full screen with a long enough knockdown for them to automatically win the neutral reset. Not only do they like to do this when they're blocking, they tend to also like to do it when you're blocking, some Hail Mary unsafe option you dared to try and punish. And it'll hit you. Every fucking time. Despite their 5U and 4-6U not being frame 1 reversals, they will certainly be used like frame 1 reversals, and they will miraculously work. Worst thing about both these attacks is the fact they both can lead to full combos after scamming you with their horrendously large armored hitboxes. Despite all this, Vaseraga players will either give a shockingly chipper GG or just walk away silently. Even the less expressive ones tend to at least carry a standard of good sportsmanship, and it tends to take a lot to actually tilt most of them. While a decent chunk of the scorn towards your character is deserved, you're alright, Vaseraga main. Shoutouts to the man Red Rage Knight for being the gold standard of boss player. As someone who used to main this character back when I started playing vanilla, I am genuinely surprised how little Beelzebubs I've run into over the years. He's got a teleport, good specials, great use skills, cool supers, one of the best themes in the game, and his overall presentation is just stellar across the board on top of both his voice actors doing an amazing job. Though, as a dub enthusiast, I personally want to take a second to give praise to the man Aiden Rudd. Chaos Legion! But I digress. Beelzebub players, at least in my experience, are a rare species despite all these admirable traits. The ones you do find will range from arrogant douchebags that you'd more than expect to play this character, to almost cartoonishly evil supervillains that you'd find in some cheesy theater production, whom, while prideful in their villainy, also exude an aura of class, skill, and surprising positivity for the game. Even if that win they just got on you was probably only 70% deserved at best and 70% scammed at worst. Don't bother contesting them on that though, they'll die on the hill that it was all skill. No matter their skill level, though, you can expect a lot of random Hail Mary full-screen dives that you'll likely never be able to reactively anti-air. And even if you do, they surprisingly tend to keep doing them anyways. Random Hail Mary teleports to approach or escape corner that you'll probably punish maybe half the time. And metric fuck tons of ultimate skill spam the microsecond they get 50 meter. Some will go absolutely apeshit with while others will bide their time for their absolute favorite thing to do, which is constantly try to cheese people with the "I'm sorry, little one," with each time they actually land it, giving them unrivaled satisfaction. This move is hilariously stupid and probably the cause of most of this character's wins in lower ranks, but they will despair when they encounter people growing wise to their grimy ways and start spot dodging it. The unworthy will stay stagnant with this character, possibly even actively searching out more nooblets to gimmick to death, but the true lords of the flies learn to adapt, evolve, and go even further beyond in the realm of knowledge checks. You know that habit of yours you develop to constantly spot dodge or roll all the bullshit he throws at you? Yeah, that will now become your greatest weakness. For the more devoted followers, the Beelzebub Battalion will be constantly fishing to bait your instinct to spot dodge or roll with their projectiles, only to catch the recovery with CeoStriker, or trap you on block with sorry, little one. They grow unpredictable with their approach options, more patient with their meter usage, and also realize this character happens to have a second unblockable to scam people with. These skilled practitioners of the character are forces to be feared and respected throughout the skies, even if their bag of tricks and tomfoolery is quite extensive. They're well aware their character is certainly above average, but they don't complain one bit about most everyone's willingness to sleep on them and his potential. So, good on you, members of the Beelzebub Battalion. As someone who used to be a part of your ranks, I salute you. Though to the grumpier ones, it can pay to lighten up a bit sometimes, you know? God, I really should have stuck with this character instead of swapping mains. I've actually been pretty eager to get to
Narmaya.
To the surprise of many, I actually have a great deal of good to say about
Narmaya
players. For starters, they're ambitious in their quest to play one of the most technical characters in the game, and most of them tend to be very chill and often compassionate to boot.
Narmaya.
Players have adopted the idea that we're all in this big-ass struggle in the skies known as net play hell together, and they've decided to be one of the little bits of positivity to keep everyone else from mauling each other on a daily basis. While they at times receive scorn, usually because Flip exists, they often simply choose to ignore it, deciding their energy is better devoted to people in need of a fun match or encouraging words after a devastating loss. If I'm being honest, pretty much every
Narmaya
I can remember running into had at least a solid grasp on the overall flow of the game and their character.
Narmaya
Around your skill level, or at least in the mid to high ranks, are almost guaranteed to give you a solid match, and I don't think I've ever seen a bad
Narmaya
player. As one would expect, though, your overall enjoyment against
Narmaya
players will absolutely partially hinge on your ability to react to Flip. I can't react to Flip. I used to be able to somewhat consistently, but yeah, I don't know what happened. Whether to intentionally abuse it, or just because it looks kinda cool,
Narmaya
will usually go for it quite often in pressure, and this telegraph can often be their downfall against, more reflexive players. But even if you struggle, if you train yourself enough, you should eventually have less trouble against it.
You Flip, which is completely cool, especially the air version, and you will suffer by a tan until the end of time.
But that move aside,
Narmaya
is a very honest character all around. They bring positive vibes and good fundamentals to the board, and are overall a very good influence on the community. Even better, despite
Narmaya's
look and personality, her player base is shockingly not completely dense with the degenerate, horny energy this game's player base tends to be riddled with. I mean, you do have some outliers to both those statements, but it's Granblue, that's about the best you're gonna get. All this combined, I myself am quite fond of whatever I encounter,
Narmaya
as I know it's most likely going to be a good, even, mostly enjoyable match all around. The real cherry on top, though, is the fact that she happens to share an English voice with Hatana, which instantly makes this one of the best characters in the game off that alone. Huh, maybe I should play.
Narmaya
Nah, I don't fit this description at all. Bless your hearts,
Narmaya
players, for you are one of the few glimmering lights in this barren land of darkness. I feel inclined to shout out Mango specifically for being a fine example of this segment himself. You're a really great guy, dude.
Narmaya
Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because this is gonna be a long one. Zooey players are the definition of a wolf in sheep's clothing. One that has had us so thoroughly gaslit since the release that their character is supposedly trash that even I was misled to believe it. Zooeys are unique in that their skill level directly reflects what type of person you're dealing with. While I will mainly be focusing on the more malicious ones, it would be folly and unjust of me to not address the first type. The Zooeys roaming around the lower ranks are often innocent enough, blindly spamming dragon attacks with little thought, and their combo scope typically starts and ends at full auto combo to spinning slash, and maybe a cash out corner route. They're not aware nor invested in the game enough or anything going on with it beyond a fun hobby. If you happen to know one of these people, make sure they stay this way, because should they continue down their path, seek to get better at the game, and actively engage their fellow brethren, that innocence slowly burns away until they've been converted into their draconic cult. And after that, they're never the same again. The other Zooeys, the elitists who started out this way, have more likely than not been playing her since vanilla. And when Rising dropped, they immediately looked at her singular, deserved downgrade she received between installments, and went,
"Oh no, my frozen dragon laser only does one laser instead of two! Now its character's ruined! Triple F tier!"
completely ignoring all the other horrendously stupid shit she got in return. You Lightning! An armored dash H that leads to combos anywhere on hit! A gigantic, full-screen, air-unblockable projectile that by existing may as well just disallow the opponent from ever jumping again! And helps you win the zoner matchups, and restores your fucking dragon meter to spam with that even more! Elitist Zooey players or disillusioned low-tier heroes, thoroughly convinced their character sucks when she's actually privileged in a can, and are among the world's top consumers of dragon dildos. If called out on their obscene copium hotboxing session, they will try to counter-argue with multiple flimsy points, which can all be immediately invalidated with just a single look at her dust loop page. Wow! No meanerless DP? Oh, the horror! Oh, the struggle! Telephone got everyone smoking Crackula, thinking this character was bottom tier, just so all you guys could go out and cosplay as a member of the working class. Well, newsflash, people! Halloween was 3 months ago, and you're all still putting on the charade, so what's the deal? And as if that all wasn't bad enough, then the Versusia patch attacked! And while that update brought one of my favorite characters into the game, it also unleashed a new menace unto us all, randomly buffing the fuck out of this character. Then they buffed her again for no good reason in Meg's update! Literally, why? Grand Order my ass! More like Grand Oppressor!
We have resource management!
What management? Tell me the last time anyone here saw a Zooey above S+ ever run out of Dragon Meter. You wanna know what's worse than fighting a Zooey? Fighting a Zooey that's committed to the degenerate playstyle. You will try literally every option you can think of to escape, but it will all be in vain. DP, you're outspaced. Brave counter, outspaced. Dash L or mash, dash yourself to the next round, because you just got counter hit. If you ever see these guys, run like hell. The suffering and stress is not worth your time in the slightest. Not a single person I know enjoys fighting this character, and I'm absolutely inclined to agree with them. You know what? Fuck it. Barry was originally due for a spot on before I relented and put her just outside of it, but you Zooey players can gladly have her spot in it, because y'all might as well be Beatrix Light right now. Oh yeah, I said it. I'd call your character this game's version of Strive Soul if she didn't exist to steal that title from you, so take that as your one and only consolation. To everyone out there who shares our struggle against these elder beasts, let this be your safe haven from their tyranny, where they can haunt you no longer, knowing you are not alone.
Battle 1. Engage!
I'm punching in! Testosterone! Morphine! Death metal! One free! Press something! Press something! Press something! Check out these guns! Now hold on to these nuts! Fuck yourself!
Know your fucking place, trash.
Handshake of manliness!
Fuck.
Check out these! Oh shit!
Alright, that'll be it for now, and wait, where the hell am I?
You're in the Granblue room.
Your recent failures have brought you here.
What the fuck is that?
It's where washed ranked players go to sit in eternal mid. So you'll fit right in.
Oh, lovely. Wouldn't that imply you fit in too, dickhead?
Nah, I'm just visiting. I'm way above you content farming cocks.
It's called pacing things out. This video's length is getting horrendous. It takes time for me to write these, you know?
Caps.
So what, am I just stuck here?
Until you decide whether to get your ass beat more or quit like a pussy. Yes.
Those options are both terrible. Ugh, whatever. In case I do yet another one of these,
You will. You desperately need those views, bucko.
comment below which characters you'd like to see, and the 6 to 8 with the highest voted comments will be in the next video.